Hey guys, James with Esprit Tech, Jetty USA. Just want to go over one of the other features of the radio with you today. We're going to talk about the sticks and switches setup. That can be found by hitting your menu button, scrolling to advanced properties, and hitting the 3D button in the middle of your scroll wheel. You want to scroll down once to sticks switches setup and click that 3D button again. Once you get in there, you'll see stick switches setup. You'll see a control number, the type of control, switch on and switch off point, which I'll get into, required for pre-flight position, and the status of that switch. The first 8 options are your proportional controls. So that would be your main gimbals, your sliders on the side, and the 2 rotor knobs on the front of the radio. So you'll notice if you scroll through by clicking the 3D button on the control number, turning the scroll wheel, it'll allow you to scroll through the different controls. You'll notice that if you move that control, the status bar will change corresponding with that input on that particular control. So as you scroll through and you want to check a switch or you've added a switch, once you get through the P functions, which is P1 through 8, you get into the S functions, which are your switches. They correspond with the labels on the front of the radio. So if you're adding a unique switch or a new switch to the SA position, you put that stick in, get it installed, close the radio up, you come to sticks and switches setup to check and make sure that switch is correct. If it doesn't automatically pick up the type of switch, you change that type of switch by scrolling down to the type of control, and you can actually click on that and change the type of switch. See, this one is not going to allow us to change from a 3-position switch because it automatically recognizes that there's a 3-position in that location. The only time you'll really need to do this is if you install new switches or you change the position of your switches. You will need to do this if you are setting up a function in which the switch is activating another function. So if you build a logic switch and you're using a switch in that logic switch and you want an on-off position, or if you're using one of your gimbals to switch a function. So let's say we're using our throttle gimbal. So I'm going to scroll back up to control number. I'm going to click the 3D button and I'm going to scroll back to P4, which is my throttle gimbal. It changes for some of you, I know. We'll go ahead and click the 3D button again to get out of control number. I'm going to scroll down to the switch on position. What you'll notice is that as you move the stick, it'll transfer from 100% to negative 100%, passing 0 at center. So if you're trying to activate, let's say, a mix at a specific stick position, you set your switch on position to the position you want that mix to come on at. Or let's say you're using your throttle gimbal to activate a timer. So what you can do is go down and turn the switch on position to, let's say, 80%, negative 80%, so that's 20% off the bottom. Now you can click on that, scroll down to switch off position, and you can dial in your switch off position to, let's say, 95%. So that way your timer comes on when you're anything over 20% stick and off when you reach 95% or 5% stick at the bottom. We'll go ahead and set up a timer and show you how that works. So I'm going to back out of my sticks and switches setup by hitting escape. I'm going to hit that 3 times to get back to the main menu. We're going to go into our timers and sensors. We're going to click on alarms, and we're going to go ahead and build this alarm that's open here, number 2. I'm going to go ahead and click enable. Actually, I went to alarms. Let's go to timers instead. It's a little easier. We'll go timer. We're going to click add, which is function button 2. We're going to go ahead and click our 3D button at the middle of the scroll wheel. We have an opportunity to label the switch, which we're not going to do, but we're going to set a free running timer, and we're going to go ahead and change from timer type from standard to free running, and we're going to go ahead and make our switch P4. So we'll select input control screen, we'll move P4 up and down. You'll notice as it clears that bottom portion of the stick, it goes to a check mark. As you reach the bottom, it goes back to an X. So that's what we want. So once we've done that, we'll go ahead and test it. You'll notice at the bottom left of the screen there is a timer icon, so you can check the functionality of the timer while you're working on it. So we'll go ahead and raise that stick up, and you notice the timer has started running. So what we want to do is let that run for a second. I'm going to go ahead and pull the stick down, and you'll notice the timer does continue to run. So we've set things up correctly. But that is what you would use the sticks and switches setup for. If you have any questions other than this or need to reach out to us for anything else, you can do so at esprittech.com, sales@esprittech.com, or you can reach out to us at sales@jettyusa.com. Again, this is James, and we'll see you next time.